let's go right into magazines. Okay, from here. Let me move this up just a bit so it's in frame for you. Okay, let's go into magazines now. This has the +2 base plate. Let's see. This has the +2 base plate on it. Okay, on this one here. So this is actually a 19 round capacity with the extension on it. This is a full-size service pistol, and I actually like the looks of. This is second kind of cool. I like the looks of the extended magazine on this, and it also gives you 2 extra rounds. So I mean, it's a plus in my book. So, but I've got 2 of your standard magazines here. This is the M&P, and it is an all metal, all steel. It feels like steel to me. Magazine. Okay, it's got kind of a different follower than the Glock. Let me show you the 2 together. Actually, let me wipe that off. That's pretty dirty. Let me just wipe it down just for a second here. The followers are a bit different. I think, and just from my experience, the Glock magazine is easier to load than the M&P. The M&P just has this a little bit taller lip right there, if you can see it. Compared to the Glock, and that taller lip actually makes it harder to get that the first round into the magazine. Once that first round's in, then it's fine. It's completely the same. But I think initially and overall, the Glock magazine's a little bit easier to load. This one tends to be a little bit stiffer spring as well. So see them laying side by side. This has got the it's got steel inside, and then it's got the plastic outside, the plastic Glock. Okay, there's your base plates comparison. This is a hit on the. This is a definite hit on the M&P. This long stinking freaking magazine lip on the end. I can't stand that thing. Well, you know, when I'm wearing it in a mag holder on my side, the way this sticks out on the side, if you can tell, it sticks out a little bit further than the Glock. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that just rubs into me on the side of me, and this is just kind of annoying. You can get aftermarket base plates that remedy that are actually, I think, aluminum base plates. So you can get replaceable base plates, but I hate having to replace them just to replace them, you know. So, but you know, they're really decent quality magazines, and I love the fact that they're blacked out. I hate really shiny magazines. That's a big no-no in my experience, or in my point of view. Just because if you're trying to be unseen and you pull out a big shiny freaking magazine, it's gonna be like a huge mirror to anybody that wants to find you. So anyway, that's just that. But pretty standard magazines. I think the build quality is really nice on both. So I'm gonna call it a draw. Well, I'm gonna give the Glock a little bit of a win on this one. So I'd say Glock's magazines are a bit better, just because of the stupid base plate. But anyway. Whatever. So, okay, so there's the magazine comparison for you. They're both 17 round capacity standard. One thing that's nice about Glock is you can run in like a Glock 19 or a Glock 26, which is the 9mm. You can run a Glock 17 mag in both of those smaller pistols. You obviously can't shoot a Glock 19 or a Glock 26 magazine out of the 17 because it's too large, but that's a nice little option that you've got. So I don't know if you can run the full-size magazines inside of an M&P 9C, which is the compact version of this, subcompact version. If anyone knows that, roll in on the comments or PM me and let me know if you can run the full-size M&P pistol in the compact version. So, okay. Let's go on to breakdown of the pistols. Okay, so this is going to be breakdown. I might edit a stop in here. If I do, then we'll obviously know it. So, so let's talk about breakdown. Let me get a drink real quick. Okay, so ease of field strip. First off, make sure that it's unloaded, which we know that this pistol is unloaded. We've checked it before. So here's the breakdown of a Glock, and you've seen this a million times. You can look at it online. You just pull this up, pull those two down, and then pull the trigger and it slides right off. Okay, so and then you've got your standard pieces. You've got your recoil spring, and you've got your barrel. And I'm going to make sure that I don't show the serial number on that. So you've got your barrel, you've got your recoil spring, your slide, and your thing. While I'm doing this, I'm going to throw this piece of duct tape back on that slide so I don't inadvertently show my serial number on it. You know, your mileage may vary as to whether that matters or not, but to me, I just rather keep my privacy. So, okay. So there's your breakdown of your Glock. Really, really, really freaking simple. It's Glock simple, and it's awesome. Okay, so that's it. Now on the M&P, make sure it's unloaded. Okay, nothing in the chamber. Okay, so what we're going to do is while it's in this position, we're going to press and rotate that lever there. Now, in the manual, they say, see, there's a little yellow, let me see if I can get my pointer here. There's a tiny little yellow bar. I don't know if you can see it real good. It's right there. Okay? That tiny little yellow bar. Now, they say in the instructions that you need to reach in with something and push that pin forward. Okay? Now, I've never done that. Okay, this is how I break it down. If you do that, you don't have to pull the trigger to break it down. You know what I do? I just let it go forward, hit the trigger, and it slides right off. So if you're not aware that that's as easy as it is to do, then I'm sorry. And I don't know if that's proper or not, but it's what I do. I can't stand having to freaking deal with that bloody lever in there. So okay, so there's our barrel, there's our slide. Pretty dang close to the same in difficulty. In fact, if you pull the trigger on this M&P, I think it's easier to break down because you have to coordinate yourself when you're actually bringing those two things down together. Where this thing, you just lock it back, flick the switch, push it forward, hit the trigger, and you're good to go. So I think it's a total tie on the breakdown of the gun. So now that we have them in pieces here, let's talk about the differences from this point of view. Okay, so let's bring the barrels in a little closer here. You can see that on the barrel that we've got a 1/4 of an inch longer barrel than the M&P. So let's line them up here. You can see that 1/4 of an inch difference. How much that's going to affect velocity? I think that it's nominal. I don't think it's going to be any big deal at all. So I don't think that velocity difference in a 1/4 of an inch is anything to even. You're going to have more variance in your powder than you are in your barrel length of a 1/4 inch. So very similar setup in your barrels. Okay. Let me show you the ends here so you can see thickness of the barrels. Okay, we do have those octagonal grooves or octagonal riflings in the Glock. Let me go grab my flashlight. Okay, just had to grab my flashlight there to show you the difference here. So I'm gonna roll in real close and see if I can show you this the difference in the riflings. Okay, so there is our octagonal riflings inside of the Glock barrel there. Okay, and then let's show you the standard traditional riflings inside of the M&P barrel. So you can see the traditional riflings there versus the octagonal riflings here. Okay, so there's the difference there. There's a big difference. Now, one of the downsides to the Glock octagonal riflings is that you cannot shoot hard cast or all lead bullets out of this. I don't know why that is necessarily. I think it has to do something with fouling of the riflings. I'm not quite sure. Or actually, I've heard also that it's because the riflings will not stabilize the cast bullets for some reason. So that is the difference. Okay, in the standard riflings, you can fire hard cast out of the standard riflings on the M&P. So recoil spring differences. Okay, we've got an all metal recoil spring in the M&P, and we have a plastic guide rod, we have a all metal guide rod here in the M&P and a plastic in the Glock. Okay, so that's the differences between those two. All right, other than that, pretty close to the same. They're both captured springs, so that means that you cannot take it off, okay, of the thing. You can. There's a little something or other. I think you can unscrew that and take it off. Anyway, either way, it's they're captured springs. So, okay, now let's talk about slide here. Okay, so let's show you these two slides together, and you can tell me. Let's go this way. Okay, M&P on top, Glock on the bottom. See any similarities there at all? I bet you can't see any similarities at all. They're dang near the same exact design. We both have the firing pin block on it, so there's your safe action there. We both have similar ways of, they're both striker fired, so yeah, hugely similar. The M&P does feel a tiny bit heavier than the Glock frame. Alright, so, or the Glock slide. The Glock slide feels just a tiny bit lighter than the M&P slide. So there is a bit of a difference that way in slide. Alright, now let's go into the frames. Okay, so again, let me go this way so the camera gets it all. See any similarities there? Yeah, that's right. Really dang close. Really dang close. M&P's got some lint because it's been carried a little bit. So, but man, I mean, look at that, guys. You see the similarities. They both have these small. Now, the one thing about this. Let me back up a little bit. The one thing about the Glock is that the slide rides on these little metal inserts. Okay, these are the rails, or these are the slide guides. Okay, they just ride on these little metal inserts inside of the gun. All right, so there's very little slide to frame contact, and that kind of helps. It kind of helps the guns run better dirty because you don't have as much frictional surface to mess with. And you know, you don't really need that to be uberly accurate. You know, some people say, well, you know, that's what's great about a SIG or the CZs or whatever, because they have those full rails and therefore they're more accurate. Well, accuracy is in the beholder of the hands in which the gun's being fired from. So there you go. Okay, similar to the Glock, we have the same system where we're having these small metal inserts that these slide guides that are guiding the slide on the frame. So we've got very little frictional surface as well. So very similar. I'll show you it working there with the trigger. It is a striker fire. Nothing really else to really comment here. I don't know enough about all the internal workings to really give you a whole commentary on what everything does and stuff like that, but I just wanted to show you the absolute similarity to these two pistols. So it's all apples and apples here, really, when you're breaking them down. Now, frame-wise, I can feel that the M&P is just a tiny smidge heavier than the Glock frame. Okay, so we already know that the Glock wins in weight, being 2 ounces lighter. So yeah, that's already established. But let's see, what else do we need to talk about on the internals? You know, both of these pistols can be broken down with a single punch tool. It doesn't take a lot to break them down. They're both very, very simple, and yeah, great. So let's put these back together, and then I need to talk about one more thing, okay? And that's how do they shoot. So let's go ahead and while I'm putting these back together, I'll talk to you a little bit about it. Okay, one thing that the Glock has over the M&P is that it has a slightly lower bore axis. And what that means is that the barrel is a little bit closer to your hand on the Glock. Alright, so it does make a difference. Whoop. It does make a difference in how the gun recoils. Okay, so if you look at it, and this being said, the M&P does really well in its bore axis. But if you measure the distance between the top of my hand and the center of the barrel, okay, the center of the barrel, it's slightly higher than that of the Glock. The Glock sits, the bore axis, which is right here, this is the bore axis, sits a little bit closer to my hand than the M&P does. So what that's going to do is when the gun recoils, the barrel, the force from the recoil is going to come back a little higher, and it's going to cause the gun to flip a little bit more. So whereas on the Glock, the force of the recoil comes back right close to the hand, and so there's less flip on the muzzle. Okay, less of this. It pushes back against the hand. Whoops. Shoot. It pushes back against the hand more than flips on the barrel. The difference between the two is very, very, very slight. Okay, so it's really it really doesn't make huge difference. Okay, in the difference between the two in shooting, but I will say that I do feel less recoil from the Glock than I do the M&P. And when I say recoil, I mean muzzle flip. Okay, there's more muzzle flip with the M&P than there is with the Glock. Now, felt recoil. Okay, all things considered, the M&P has less felt recoil than the Glock. Alright, so hopefully I didn't confuse you there. So there's more muzzle flip on the M&P than there is in the Glock, and it's very, very, very slight. Let me make sure that you realize that that the difference is very, very nominal. But the overall felt recoil is less in the M&P. All right, so that's just how it is for me. Okay, and you know, I've had a lot of female shooters shoot this gun, and they say the same thing, that it just recoils as smooth as can be. Now, the one thing about the M&P that I will say over the Glock when we're talking recoil is that the Glock is kind of utilitarian. Okay, it just is. It's, in my opinion, the M&P is a much nicer looking pistol. I think the lines are nice. I think the way it just looks, everything it's just prettier overall. The Glock is utilitarian in its look. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So I really feel that the Glock, because of me shooting it over time and things like that, it's grown on me a lot more. And to me, it just breeds, or it just extrudes just natural tactical utilitarianism. Okay? Hopefully that was clear enough. So it's more like got a utilitarian beauty to it. The M&P just has just nice lines. It just looks good. Okay? In my opinion. That being said, the Glock, okay? Let me get back to my original thought. I digressed there. But the Glock, when I'm firing this gun, I feel the slide unlock. I feel the slide coming all the way back. I feel it hit, and then I feel it go all the way back into battery. And I feel it stripping off that round, and I feel it going right back in. Okay? So I feel all the mechanisms that are going on, all the mechanics that are going on in this gun when I shoot it. On the flip side, when I fire the M&P, I feel it come out of battery, and then I feel it just do its thing in a nice wave and go right back into battery, and that's it. I don't feel every single motion that's happening in this gun, and that is a good thing in my opinion. It is not a bad thing that I can't feel everything that's happening, because it's just fluid. It's just smooth. Sorry, I'm wiping off some grease here. It's just fluid, it's just smooth, it's just incredibly silky. That's how I would describe shooting the M&P, is it's just a silky gun that just does what it needs to do flawlessly. Alright, so it's just fantastic. I love shooting the M&P. I absolutely love it. Okay? Now, the Glock being utilitarian, that's just what it feels like. It feels like I'm shooting a utility, a tool, you know, and not that that doesn't show, not that that doesn't give me pleasure in any sense, but it's just not as, it just doesn't feel quite as silky. Okay,